We have a big tech sell-off. You guys may be wondering what is going on with the stock market today. We've got Nvidia down almost 15% today, Microsoft down 4% almost, Google down 3%. Apple is doing pretty decent, not even gonna lie. We got some we're gonna be talking about Apple a little bit later. Tesla down 3%. We got a bunch of stocks down, bunch of tech stocks mainly down. Oh my god, Broadcom down 18%, which is insane. Also, we want to look at the weekly. We got all of these stocks down on the weekly too, except for Meta. Meta's doing good, Amazon's doing good on the weekly. Tesla's doing bad, but we're going to be going more in depth about the charts and stuff like that later. First, I want to get into some news. So basically, to start off with, so we're going to be talking about Deepseek, which is basically China's basically ChatGPT, which honestly, it is verified that if you ask Deepseek what their model is kind of made of, it literally says ChatGPT. They literally copy and pasted. But what is going on right now is that one, they're basically, a lot of people are getting into DeepSeek, but now China kind of regulated it so that only if you need a Chinese number to basically use DeepSeek. But that basically shows how many people are kind of switching to this model. Also, they're basically a China startup, but with that being said, they basically made an AI. They made basically ChatGPT at a fraction of a cost. I think it literally was like a 90% discount, which is insane, like literally a fraction of the cost. But it has raised concerns about competition, basically in the U.S. tech sector, and just showing that China is kind of overtaking the U.S. in the AI race, basically. So we had a big sell-off in NVIDIA. We had a big sell-off in basically a lot of chip stocks because it shows what China can basically do. So if you guys seen that big decrease, I made a bunch of money on SPY, did a SPY put over the weekend because of how the levels looked. I honestly was not expecting that much money out of it, but we made a bunch of money and we're going to be talking more about it. But yeah, so basically some political developments. Trump briefly threatened tariffs on Colombia over deportation disputes, but also retracted after reaching an agreement. So he's basically using the tariffs to get better agreements. But yeah, so let's talk more about some other news. So we got a bunch of stuff about DeepSeek, about Wall Street, talking about tech stocks. They're kind of more scared, and we got Apple and Meta kind of rising and kind of holding the market up, but not really as much as you would expect. But with that being said, let's talk about some levels and stuff like that. So we do got Tesla, Meta, Microsoft earnings coming up this Wednesday, so keep that in mind. With that being said, we did break below that 400 level, and we've been kind of maintaining it. We broke above it for a little bit today, but then we kind of retested and kind of broke down. So I kind of want to talk about some levels to look at with Tesla. That being said, if we keep on going to the downside, I'll look at that 392. 390 is going to be a key level. It bounced off that 390 a little bit and almost kind of bounced off at pre-market. So look at that 390. If we break below that 390, we can see 388, 386, and probably maybe even get into that 380. We had like a big bounce off of it pre-market, but I'll look at that 380. Going back up to the upside, I'll look at that 400 level, going all the way up to that 404. 405 is going to be key, 406, and then 409 is going to be another key level. So keep that on your mind. And then going up to like that 420 level, which is like a previous key level. That being said, NVIDIA is insane right now. We're at that 120 level, which is honestly my recommendation for a buy. We did bounce off that 118 level to say. So I really want to see how to retest that 118 level. If we get another bounce, then we can probably see it maybe to the upside or just keep testing that 118 level until it breaks past it. With that being said, to the downside, if we do break that 118, I'll look at 116, 114, 112, and then 110. 110 is going to be a key level. And if we break below that 110, that's some scary territory. I'm not even going to lie, but we can probably see it with this 16% decrease in this stock. But back up to the upside. I think once we find a bottom for NVIDIA, we are below VWAP kind of like almost the whole time. But with that being said, I think if we can find a bottom point, you can probably see NVIDIA go up to like that 130 level once again. With that being said, if we do retest that 118 and we see a bounce upwards and it starts going up, we can look at that 120, 122, 123, which is basically VWAP right now, 126, 128, and then come into that 130. Maybe later on this week, we can see that 130 level once again, and or we can just see it keep on going down. But with that being said, with this DeepSeek news, I don't know how long this is going to be and how much fear is going to be in, but I'll keep that in mind. But with that being said, SPY, we did try to retest that 600 level, but we kind of bounced off of it. So with that being said, I think that 600 level is going to be a key level to look at, and also the level of 590 because it had a big bounce. Also, as you see with NVIDIA, big bounce upwards, kind of bounced off of it. With that being said, I think I'm going to be looking at that 595 level, 594, going down to that 590 level once again. If we break past that 590 level, we can probably even see 589, 588, 585. So keep that in mind to the downside. To the upside, definitely looking at that 600 level right away. And then if we can break that 600 level, we might bounce off. But if we can break that 600 level, we can see 601, 602, maybe up to that 605. But honestly, I think maybe depending on how the earnings go, if we get some decent earnings, we can probably see it going back up above that 600 level, above that 605 level if we get good news with that. With that being said, Apple, man, oh my God, we're above VWAP. We're looking bullish in the MACD. I do have a video explaining the MACD a little bit more and VWAP, so if you guys want to understand what that means, I got videos out. But that being said, I do want to look at how Apple moves with that 230 level. I think a couple days ago, we did kind of see it up at that like 226 and we bounced off and we started looking bearish again. And then we were bearish with that day. With that being said, Apple has had some bearish news, but now we're kind of like smoothing it out and we have earnings coming up. Maybe earnings can also push the stock up even more. That being said, I do want to see that 230 level and maybe even that 235 level before earnings. And then earnings is either going to move it up or down a decent amount. So keep that on your mind. Keep that on your radar. Another thing is Bitcoin. We do got Bitcoin on the bearish side. We did kind of see it try to retest some levels of that 100K, but we kind of bounced off instantly. With that being said, I do want to look at MSTR. Is MSTR, you've seen those levels. We got up to 350 and then we bounced down below. So you can probably see this stock back at 350 by this week. So if you want to play some short-term plays, you can maybe see it retest that 350 level. I mean, we got the 357, but just depending on how Bitcoin really moves, I think this could be a good long or short-term hold just to make some quick cash, but just keep that in your mind. I do recommend looking at these lower levels, 332, 328, and also maybe that 325 level before you get in to see if it breaks past those levels and keep going to the downside. But always look at Bitcoin when you look at this stock. Please look at Bitcoin when you look at this stock. Do not overtrade. Do not undertrade. So we have been getting some news of COVID, the bird flu spreading a little bit more, stuff like that. So Moderna, I do recommend looking at it. Ticker symbol MRNA. This is a stock that kind of moves with the COVID, and just honestly, like whenever we go through a pandemic, it's not really bad right now, but this is a stock that you can probably see back up to that $50 level. With that being said, I wouldn't be too like I'd just be patient with this one because you can probably see it bounce down maybe back at that $40 level and maybe going down to that 35 level and maybe even testing that 30 level before we can get another big push, or we can probably see it testing that 40 level and bouncing upward to the upside. We just need more bad news with the bird flu and stuff like that. But I hope everybody's safe. Speaking of, because I don't want to just talk bad about it. But with that being said, with chip stocks currently diving, we got Broadcom on the downside, and I think it's still going to go to the downside. Honestly, we've been down like the whole day. I might even play a little put option later on. I just want to see how the stock moves a little bit more. It is currently, it's like 3.5 hours before market close. But I think when I post this video, it's going to be after market close. So keep this on your mind. Stocks can move a lot depending on how news comes out, so it might be a little bit different. But for Broadcom, I do want to look at that 200 level. We are kind of doing a little bounce, but you can probably see it bounce up a little bit and then test that 200 level. We might even break past it, or we might bounce off the 200 level. So 200 level is going to be key. If we break past that 200 level, I'll look at 198, 196, 194, and definitely that 190 level. I don't think we can hit it today, but maybe tomorrow and or after hours. And back up to the upside, we can see it breaking, maybe bounce off that 200, go up to 204, 208. And then VWAP right now is moving at that 211. We might be at like 210 at that time. So 210 is going to be a key level. Probably bounce above that VWAP and then maybe hit 214, 216. And yeah, so keep that on your mind. The stocks are kind of looking bad today, just tech stocks, honestly. But I recommend just being very, very patient and just running with how the market goes. Don't trade against the market. If you see this bearish momentum right now, just go bearish. If you want to trade something that might look safe, I recommend Apple, but I recommend looking at how Apple moves throughout the day because we might see a bounce downwards. We just hit that 230 level on Apple. So with that being said, we did break that 230 level, so we might see it to the upwards even more, and or we might see it kind of bounce above that 230 and then bounce downwards. So just keep that on your mind. I'm really curious to see how Apple moves. We might even see it upside even more, but just be very, very patient while trading because this market is very uncertain right now. and or just look at other stocks that don't really move with the Deepseek news. So please keep that on your mind. Trade safe. Let me know how much money you guys made. Let me know some tickers that you guys are looking at, and watch some other videos. Subscribe, hit those post notifications so you guys never miss out on an upload. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.